What's going on, everyone? It's Joe the Lawnmower. I'm out at my garage tonight. This is going to be a DIY video for you guys. I have a DIY channel as well. I like doing woodwork projects with like making wood signs, and I have an awesome one tonight that I've been waiting to do for a while. It involves the musical Hamilton, so stick around. Let's get started. Said I got an awesome wood sign project tonight. It is inspired by the musical Hamilton. My sons, they just absolutely love Hamilton. We've seen it a million times on Disney Plus, and I got an awesome little silhouette that I want to do. I want to put it on this wood. Basically what this is a 2x, I don't know what you would call this, a 2x6, or like it's basically wood that you can get at Home Depot. It's just a common wood. What I do is I sand it down. I just use regular white acrylic paint it on, and then what I do is before I actually put the stencil on, I just do a light sanding of the wood, just so that way the stencil sticks on the wood a little bit better. But I just use basic acrylic paint. You can get that at AC Moore, Walmart, Michael's, anything like that, Hobby Lobby, anything that's close to you. So it's just gonna be a quick, simple project. Show you guys how I do it. So I'm not going to bore you guys with the Cricut or the printing of the Cricut. Basically what I have here is the stencil. You can kind of see it here. What we're going to do next is I'm going to take my weeding tool. I'm going to peel it apart. Then from there, we're going to take the stencil off of our Cricut mat, and we're going to put it on there and paint it. So like I said, guys, this is my Cricut mat right here. I got the stencil. As you can see, you can almost see it already pointed out. My lighting's not the best in my garage, but what I got here is my weeding tools. What I like using are these tweezers. I just got these on Amazon. I like these a lot better than the ones that come with the Cricut machine itself, just because they have these little pointers right here. You can see it's just a little bit easier to peel up the stencil that way. So basically what I'm going to just do next is I'm just going to weed out everything the best that I can. We want to make sure that we're not peeling up anything we don't want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this into fast mode, and then when we get done, we'll put it on the wood. So once I have everything weeded out, the next step is pretty simple to do. All you have to do is take obviously your stencil off your mat. And then what you want to do from here is get your transfer tape out. I got this on Amazon as well. I really love this transfer tape. What I love about this transfer tape is that it's clear, so once you put it onto your piece of wood, it's really easy to see what you're doing. So what I can do is now just put my stencil somewhere there, make sure all the edges, everything is on that transfer tape, and then from there you're just going to grab your squeegee tool right here. This is the one that comes with the Cricut Explorer kit, or it comes with the Cricut Explorer. You just want to make sure you're pressing that down as best as you can. And then from there, you can just cut your transfer tape. So now that we have the transfer tape, we have the stencil there on the transfer tape, what we can do is we can peel this off. What I like to do is always have my board right next to me, so that way all I'm doing is transferring it right onto the board. Don't have to go far. What you want to make sure is definitely that you have your wood lined up the way you want. You want to make sure if you have a grain, you want to make sure the grain is going the way you want. It all depends on exactly how you like it. Like I said, I always have the transfer tape right there and the wood right here, so I'm just going to slide this to the side, and then you're just going to peel off the transfer tape. Or you're going to peel the back of your stencil is what you're doing. And if you haven't noticed yet, I'm using Oracle 631. That is the black stencil vinyl that I'm using. It's a non-permanent stencil. That way you can peel it off of your object when you get done, and look at that. Everything is sticking to that transfer tape. That is a beautiful sight right there. So I'm going to throw that to the side, the scrap piece. Then what you're going to want to do is you want to line it up to where you want it on your board. You want to make sure that you are covering everything making sure you got everything on there, because once you push this down for good, it's gonna be, you're pretty much stuck to where you want it. So as you can see, I got it down pretty good. What I'm gonna do, take the squeegee tool again and squeegee it down and then peel it off. So now that we got the stencil on here nice and flat as best as we can, it is peeling up a little bit in certain spots. And this is why I love doing this next part right here. What I always do first is I take my paint and I always paint whatever the background color is. I will paint that on top of the stencil first. And the reason why I do this is because it reduces the bleeding that can get underneath of the stencil. And when you peel up it, you get those bleeding effects underneath of the letters and objects and things like that. So I'm just using my regular white acrylic paint right here that I used for my background. And all I'm doing is I'm taking my makeup brush. I love these. These are just regular makeup brushes that you can get Amazon, anywhere, pretty much anywhere you can get these makeup brushes. What I love about these is they're nice and soft. They're like squeegees basically. And then you just take a little bit of the paint, you dip it on your makeup brush, and then all you're doing is you're dabbing it all over. And what I do is I usually do one coat, and then after that, after I do the white, I'll do what my regular color I want my letters to be. And you'll see what happens by doing this first. It's really going to reduce your bleeding. So now that we got the background color done on the stencil, and what I did was I really made sure I went into the edges. That way everything gets sealed. When we go to peel this up, there shouldn't be very few bleeds at all. So what we're going to do next is I got another clean makeup sponge. We're going to dip it into our black background color now. The black, well, what I should say is what we're painting the letters now. So basically same thing. You're just going to dip it in, and then you're just going to keep dabbing very lightly. We're going to do 2 coats of the black, but we're going to just dab lightly, make sure everything gets filled in. And then after that, we'll make sure everything gets dry, and then we can peel it up. So 2 coats, I'm going to do 2 coats, and I'm going to come back and peel it up. So we've come to the conclusion now. I did 3 coats of black paint on the lettering, and what I was doing between each one was I was using my heat gun here and just heating it up just to make the drying time a little bit quicker. For the video purposes, you can let it sit and dry if you would like, and then just make sure you let it dry completely before you do each coat. So what we're going to do now is we're going to peel it up and reveal our design. And there you have it, the finished product. As you can see here, it did peel up the paint, and that is the reason because I was using the heat gun. If I just let it dry and I didn't heat up the vinyl, what happens is when you use the heat gun on top of the vinyl, the stencil, what it's doing is it's heating it and it's kind of sealing it to the wood. So what happened is by me using this and not just letting it dry, which I normally would just let it dry, but for filming purposes, I wanted to speed it up a little bit. You can definitely see that it did peel up the paint. But overall, I mean, it looks really great. The stencil came out really nice. It's smooth. Probably what I'm going to do is I'll leave this on this side, and then maybe on the other side, paint this white, and then do the same thing on the other side. But for overall, I think it looks really great. It kind of looks pretty cool with the peeling up a little bit. It kind of gives it a little bit of a rustic feel. But overall, I am super happy with the way this came out. Well, there you have it, guys. We got our sign done. And let me tell you, using that white background first on the stencil really does help. I mean, you can see here, these lines are crisp. There's only like one little tiny smidge right there on the M, and I could clean that up if I really wanted to, but I just don't want to. This sign, it came out really, really clean, really good. Again, you can see the letters. There's pretty much no peeling at all. And that's the key to the white background. So again, if you're going to put a stencil down on a piece of wood, I highly recommend you paint whatever the background color you did first, paint that on the stencil. That's going to seal that stencil into the wood or whatever kind of material you're working with. I always use wood, so it's going to seal that into that wood. That way, when you go to put down your coloring on your lettering, it's nice and crisp and clean when you peel it up. And again, I use that heat gun. You can see it did peel up a little bit of the background white. Again, if I had just taken this inside at room temperature, in my house right now, it's about 69, 70 degrees. It would have probably dried fine. I was just a little impatient. I wanted to make this video for you guys. So I use that heat gun. I don't recommend you do that. I just wanted to do it for demonstration purposes, just to speed up this process a little bit. And if I didn't use that heat gun, I know I've done it in my past, it would have came out perfect as well. So what I'm going to do is probably make another one on maybe on the other side, and just to show you guys what it does look like. But so overall, I like it. I think it's kind of cool, even though it did peel up the background a little bit. It does kind of give it a little bit of a rustic feel. But overall, I'm super happy with how this came out. And one more thing I always do on all my signs is I always spray it with some sort of clear coat. This is just a Rust-Oleum clear coat. This is a matte finish. They come in semi-gloss, gloss as well. I always spray my signs down. It just protects the paint. It protects the wood. I've sprayed this on outside signs that I've had hanging outside, and let me tell you, it really does a good job of protecting the wood, protecting the paint from peeling, chipping, things like that. So I always try and spray this on anything that I do, any kind of wood sign, and I definitely would recommend you spray it outside. Do not spray it in your house. What I usually do if I'm working at night, the next morning, I'll go out in the morning, put it on a nice flat surface, either on a board, and just spray it, let it dry, and then I bring it in at nighttime, and then you're good to go. But again, highly recommend you just get a little bit of clear coat, very inexpensive, spray it on your sign. You're going to thank me later. So that's it for today's video. If you have any questions or concerns on today's video, make sure you leave it in the comment section below. I love helping you guys out with any questions that you have. I love doing this stuff. I just love making these signs. I love showing them off to people. They love seeing this kind of handmade stuff that you do. It is hard work, as you guys could see. It does take a while to do, but when the finished product looks like this, it always gives me a good feeling. It makes me super proud of what I can do. So please, if you can, smash that like button. It really does help out with the channel. It helps people find the videos on my channel. And like always, guys, I'll see you in the next one.